Welcome back, everybody, to This Is My Bourbon Podcast. I'm your host, Perry. I have a very special guest with me this week. It is Erin Petrey. She is running for Congress in, you're out of Lexington, Kentucky, but you're actually running for a much larger seat than just Lexington, Kentucky. Erin, it's very good to sit down with you and actually meet you in person for the first time. But hello. Hi.
Hi. Hello. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah. And it's like not only am I running for a seat in Lexington, Kentucky, we are filming this from Lexington, Kentucky.
It is, yeah.
Which is really the center of this district. And it's kind of interesting because the whole district radiates out from Lexington.
It does. And it's funny because I think that a lot of people don't give Lexington the credit that it is due for a few reasons. One, it's the biggest small town that you'll ever experience. Everybody knows everybody and is kind of always in each other's business.
Yeah,
no matter what.
For better or for worse.
Yeah, exactly. I'm also from Lexington, so I'm a little bit biased.
Samesies, yeah.
But it's constantly overshadowed by the other big L in Kentucky.
Yeah. Also, I'm a little distracted because this microphone smells like peated scotch.
I'm sorry. I don't.
No, it's not a bad thing.
Why.
I just love peated scotch.
That's very.
I was like,
interesting.
I was like, it smells like peat.
I don't know when the last time I had peated scotch on that microphone was.
I don't know.
So yeah,
it's
just
insidious. We love it.
Somehow baked into the fibers of that microphone.
Yeah, what's actually really funny is that folks, when I'm outside of Kentucky, people are like, "Oh, you're from Kentucky? Are you from Louisville?" And I'm kind of offended. Yeah, because I'm like, it's not the only thing in Kentucky. I was like, Kentucky's much bigger than Louisville just because it's the biggest town.
My favorite thing would be to go, well, you might know Louisville, but do you know what county Louisville's in?
Yeah, right.
And really throw them for a loop.
There is this thing. I'm like, Andy Burchett, if you're listening to this, probably not. He lives in China now, I think. But we went to high school together at Model UN conference once. We were at Princeton, New Jersey. And he was trying to hit on this girl. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm from Kentucky." And she's like, "Oh, what's the capital?" And he goes, "Lexington." And me and my friend go, "Andy." And he goes, "Oh, I mean Louisville." And we're like, Andy. And he goes, "Andy. What?" And I'm like, "It's Frankfurt, dude." And he's not a stupid guy. I don't know. Maybe he was just trying to spit game and got distracted. Right. I don't know. That's still one of my favorite stories.
We'll chalk it up to that. Hey, we normally kick off episodes with a segment known as Flying Blind, where one of us gets blinded with a pour of something. And I've done just that. I got a pour of something blind. So I will let you pour for yourself.
Is this kind of like one of those things where it's like something borrowed, something blue, something blind? Can we add that to the new wedding thing?
I like that idea. I've never thought about that, but yeah, I've been married for 10 years this summer, so I can't. I guess I could renew my vows. With that in mind, but ooh. I'm excited to see what you think about this. It's not a trying to get you with the pour. And here's the fun thing too. Erin is a bourbon person. Erin knows bourbon, knows whiskey.
It's on my shirt.
Yeah,
it's on my campaign shirt.
So this is not and if you're familiar, of course, with the show, you know that I interviewed Herbert Lynn. DSA candidate in Lexington as well for city council at large.
Yeah, we did a fundraiser together.
So you did, yeah.
Yeah, it was super fun.
I was very tired the day that you all
Sounds
held
like
that.
An excuse, but cool.
And a little bit, but also it was the first day that I had off in a while, and I was like, I really just need to take a nap. And
I'll allow it. If it's for naps, I always allow it.
But also, I feel like I'm making up for it by having you on the show now too. So, what do you think about this pour here, Miss Erin?
I'm getting sweet almond, apple blossom.
Excellent notes.
I actually haven't done bourbon tasting in quite a few months because I've been busy running for Congress. So usually when I drink, it's a random beer at a thing, or I throw whiskey in a glass while I'm about to pass out on the couch just so my feet don't hurt.
Right.
Right. Or I go to sleep because I'm not anxious, but my mind is racing.
Yeah.
So I haven't really done a lot. So I feel like my palate is a little reset in a good way. Right. I'm ooh.
It's one of the best things.
Even though my diet has been mostly Taco Bell, Goodfellas pizza, and McDonald's Egg McMuffins. Like it's oh my gosh, my diet on the road. I feel like I've gained like 15 pounds on this campaign trail.
It will come off, I'm sure, immediately as soon as you are.
Oh, I'm gonna be back at Orange Theory like 4 to 5 times a week after this is done. I mean, if I win the primary, listen, that's gonna be baked into my schedule.
There you go.
That's a really it's very like sweet, but like
there's like a pop of spice.
Yeah, it's like I know there's rye
Yeah.
in here. Immediately, I was like, I haven't even tasted it yet. So
Yeah, all right.
Oh, there's definitely rye. Yep. Or is there not? Oh no, I feel like there has to be.
Again, not trying to like trick you or get you with anything.
There's like a gentle mesquite quality in there too. Like not a lot of smoke, but kind of like when you think of like sweet barbecue. Not like saccharine, but just a little.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a little bit of that like maybe brown sugar maple with just a touch of smoke.
Yeah.
You think, I don't know, maybe it's because I just talk so much on the campaign trail. I'm like spitting all this stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, these things are just all connecting. Oh, seriously. I could go into a stump speech and give the most like insane, like barn burner of a speech. And people be like, oh my gosh, how long did you prepare for that? I'm like, I don't know. I just made it up.
I mean, that's what you should have in the back of your head, though, is just, you need to have and we'll talk about it here in a bit.
Yeah, this nice burn, like right, like at the very top of my like throat.
Yeah.
It's like in the very back of your mouth.
Right around my uvula.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where it is. It's like right there.
Now, I also have not had a whole lot of whiskey. I mean, this week in particular. But what are you thinking proof-wise?
I think it probably drinks a little lower than what it is.
Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe like a 110.
Okay. Interesting.
Now I'm going to feel stupid.
No, there's no... I'm not trying to get you. I'm not trying to catch you or anything. This is just Sazerac 100 proof rye.
Okay, so I was...
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have not had this.
Yeah, this is...
so I was like, I think it's... Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is rye. I was like, it's definitely rye.
It's definitely rye.
I stuck my nose in it and I was like, this rye. This rye. This is a lot better than the traditional Sazerac, I will say.
I have to agree.
I mean, my mother loves the Sazerac. I don't know if it's just because the bottle's cute, but I'm going to have to start stocking this for her Manhattans and Old Fashions because she's a rye drinker.
Yeah.
And so I really like this.
It's around a lot more conveniently now than it was even like 6 months ago. It's finally starting to pop up on shelves. But
yeah, that's a strong, like, it's a rye. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good.
I'm a big fan of it. Yeah.
Shoot.
I
love this. I have to buy a bottle now.
I was going to ask you, what have you been drinking recently, but you kind of answered it already. So we're just going to kind of hop right into it. And
apparently I've been drinking, I don't know, MAGA folks have been telling me to cry about it online. And I was like, well, I'm just going to run for Congress instead of cry about it. I'm like, bye.
So we're just going to jump right into it, and we are going to talk about your campaign. We're going to talk about what you're running on as well. So we're going to hit it the same way that I asked Herbert.
Okay.
The Zoran method. Your 5 top policy hits that you're running on for Congress.
Yeah, I do want to start by making a caveat about Zoran Mamdani.
Okay.
Because I had a conversation with someone the other day, and they were like, and I said, it's hard to get a lot of like national media coverage for like a little bitty race like this, even though this is a key flip. And people were like, well, they had Zoran Mamdani on. And I was like, listen, Zoran Mamdani grew up in the political elite world. Like his parents were very wealthy. Like his parents were like very well connected. He was like hanging out with Bill Clinton when he was a kid. I was like, this guy is not like a nobody who just because you haven't heard of him doesn't mean he hasn't been around.
Right.
But all that being said, I do respect him quite a lot.
Of course.
Now, let's see here. So 5 things, right?
Yep.
Medicare for all. Like full stop. No negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do that. 32 of the 33 most wealthy nations in the world have universal health care. It's like, guess who we are? We're that one who doesn't have it. It's just like kind of maternity leave, right? It's like we don't have paid maternity leave. And like it's like us in like Papua New Guinea And that's it. It's absurd. And like maybe Venezuela or something. I don't know. But so Medicare for all.
Regardless of the administration that's in
regardless
power
of the administration, because also Dr. Oz is in charge of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, and it doesn't matter who's in charge, because that is the dumbest conceit I've ever heard to say, oh, if RFK Jr. is in charge, I can't do it. I was like, really? So we just can't do anything because somebody else is in charge. So how are you going to work with anybody? That is it's the weakest argument I've ever heard. I even heard Amy McGrath say that on the KET debate. Yeah. And actually, Audio
listeners, I'm rubbing my eyes.
I know, but Sherilyn also said that on our first Spectrum debate, but she's since backpedaled from that, which, I mean, it's still out there, but, I need to ask her about that actually. But she's kind of started leaning in more to the Medicare for all or the public option. But, this whole thing by saying that, well, if it's RFK Jr., then we can't do it. I was like, okay, well, Donald Trump is president, so we can't do anything.
Yeah.
Pete Hegseth is head of the Department of Defense, not war. So we can't do anything. Marco Rubio is head of the Department of State, so we can't do anything in regards to international affairs. So like, why even just, leave your take your toys and go home at this point, right? Yeah, Medicare for all, regardless of who is in charge, because it's the right thing to do for our people, and big things take time. Number 2 is we have to increase wages. The fact that $7.25 is the minimum wage nationally and in 13 states, including Kentucky, it's absurd.
Yep.
Adjusted for inflation, that's almost $11 an hour.
Yep.
I can't live on $11 an hour. So we have to increase the minimum wage. We also have to move towards a living wage, and we also need to peg the minimum wage to inflation so that it auto adjusts up just like COLA does, cost of living allowance. Number 3. So I am very much someone who believes in bringing accountability back to government. And currently we have so many different things that are hurting us. But I think the biggest one is going to be Citizens United. So there are a lot of ways that we can combat Citizens United. But I think overall, I would just say trying to get corporate money and special interest money out of politics. Like I was telling you earlier, Track APAC has endorsed me. It's going to be posted. Thank you. At some point. They're very hard to get a hold of. It's only a 2-person team.
They're a little busy.
Well, it's like they're a 2-person team, and I respect that. But I'm like, it's like TikTok. So getting corporate and special interest money out of politics. There's a lot of things we can actually do to reduce the amount of money required. We can put caps on campaign spending. We can provide allowances for public fund matching like they do in New York. We can shorten election cycles to make sure that people can have a limited amount of time. We can also limit IE or independent expenditure money. Currently in my race, 2 of my opponents are having hundreds of thousands of dollars in mailers and ads paid for by out-of-state PACs.
I know. I get them all the time. Yeah,
I know,
constantly.
Right?
Yeah.
I know. So it's like, just because you don't hear from me as much on TV or in the mail, it's because other people from out of state are paying for that for their own interests. Let's see here. Number 4. Oh my gosh, there's so many things. Right? I'm like, there's just so many things. I think that, one of the things we also have to do, and I will just go ahead and say this, right, is that education, we are in such a critical juncture.
Yes.
This is Teacher Appreciation Week. I went and served lunch to some folks, to the teachers and staff at Lexington Middle School, formerly LTMS. Now it's just a regular middle school. And I was invited there by one of their teachers to help serve. And I recorded a video when I came out, and I was like, you know what the best way to show teacher appreciation is? Pay them what they're worth. And with so many different counties in Kentucky and pretty much every single county in the 6th Congressional District, the school system is the number 1 employer.
Yep.
So why are we paying lawyers more than we are paying our teachers? Our teachers are the ones who are actually in charge of our future in general. They're the economic engines of our society, and we treat them like they're expendable. That they're like, oh, well, we give you $250 a year for supplies. It's like, excuse me?
That's like
it's
2
nothing.
packs of pencils.
It's 2 pack. Yeah, it's like in this economy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's absurd to me that we're okay with cutting teacher pay, but we will pay ICE more than anybody else. So I actually have a moonshot style program that I want to propose, which is a grant style program that districts can get, which will increase their teacher pay up to a living wage. So it'll essentially help them to augment and close that gap between what they actually pay and what a true living wage would be. And so that would be a 10 to 15 year sustaining program to help bring the entire economy, especially in those lower income, minority focused, and rural areas, to help bring them back up. And then finally, we got to abolish ICE. I was like talking about ICE. If we want to talk about government accountability and efficiency, ICE is currently more funded than any other law enforcement agency in the entire country, and the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. Immigration is not a criminal issue. It is a civil issue. Mm-hmm. And when I say abolish ICE, I'm not saying we don't need immigration, right? We need one that is humane, is focused on civil rights, is focused on due process, that's community centered. And if there are criminals, guess what? We have the ATF to deal with that. We have the FBI to deal with that. We have local police to deal with that. Mm-hmm. We don't need this other large law enforcement agency that is just siphoning off billions upon billions and literally murdering people in our streets. Yep. That is not where the criminals are. The criminals are in the White House and in Congress, but the real criminals are the ones who are, billionaires who are not paying their taxes. They are corporations that aren't paying their taxes and exploiting labor. So it's healthcare, a living wage, education, bringing accountability back to government by getting rid of special interest and corporate money, and abolishing ICE.
You answered one of the questions that I was going to ask later on, mm-hmm. which was about overturning Citizens United.
Yes.
And I think we can have a longer conversation about, getting private interests out of politics in general at some point. Maybe not even, during this broader podcast. But I think it's worth noting too for folks who are unaware of the more immediate impact that an organization like ICE has had on the United States. It is very common to speak with people in the progressive media, mm-hmm. to have them say things to the effect of, I remember when ICE was not an entity in the United States.
Yeah, it was 2003 when ICE was created.
Right.
But even in this iteration, it has not looked like this.
Exactly. And it is just, you're right, constantly ramped up and ramped up and ramped up. Mm-hmm. And in one capacity or another, it has always been pushing papers or trying to, go after people through litigation. And it's not been until, nominally recently that it has turned into a militant force that we're seeing things escalate to the way that they have.
I'll push back against that just a little bit because ICE has been doing things just quietly.
Sure.
They have been an enforcement agency, but when you're talking about pushing papers, right? What we had before the 2003 Patriot Act, and for all of the children born after 9/11, the Patriot Act was sweeping legislation that created the Department of Homeland Security. It was created after, the United States had the worst attack on its own soil since Pearl Harbor. Mm-hmm. And this was not during a time of, World War either. And so it was based out of fear and a lot of racism, mm-hmm. Because back then, that's when Muslims were being rounded up. Yep. People who looked even remotely brown were being rounded up. So this isn't the first time we've done this. Like Trail of Tears, the Japanese internment camps, the Chinese. The Irish need not apply. Let's be real about the Holocaust. We weren't really good then either. The Vietnamese, you can keep going and going and going all the times that we've rounded up people in this country, and it's vile. But before 2003, we had the Immigration and Naturalization Service, which was the INS, right? That was kind of the umbrella immigration program, right? And then the Patriot Act broke it out into three different entities. USCIS, which handles visas, CBP, Customs and Border Protection, the people who are actually down at the border and at the airport, and then ICE, right? So all of a sudden, we had one agency doing everything, and now we had three agencies doing everything but more administration and more overhead and more ways to get lost in the cracks. So if someone gets picked up by ICE, but their case is currently with USCIS, they get stuck between these agencies infighting.
Right.
And it doesn't work. It makes it even harder for people to come here the right way.
Yeah.
Because there's all of this bureaucratic growth. And frankly, I don't understand. It is completely, it's antithetical to what Republicans believe, right? Because they say, oh, we need smaller government. Well, then why are you exploding this part of government? You should want to be more efficient.
Well,
but I don't know. I guess that would be logical.
Well, also spending,
Totally crazy.
you know,
Trillions.
What's the, $1 billion a day, $1.7 billion a day on a...
Oh, in Iran?
In Iran.
Yeah, that's a different
too,
story.
but
Yes.
Yeah.
You mean the war that was over 8 weeks ago and we won 2 weeks ago, but isn't a war anymore?
And the strait's open while it's also closed.
It's, oh my gosh, my friend Ken had a great sign that he was carrying at the courthouse yesterday or on Wednesday, and it said, "The Strait of Hormuz is open unless it's closed." And it's like, true.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like the war is over unless it's not.
Yeah, pretty
we
much.
won the war unless we haven't. And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah. Let's move on to another pour.
Sure.
Shall we?
Yes. More pours.
Have you had the chance to have the Green River Foolproof Weeded Bourbon yet?
Probably. I've had almost everything by Green River.
I
love them so much.
It's fairly new. It just came out earlier this year.
Then maybe not. I don't know. I have had their foolproof.
The weeded version of it.
Yeah. I have a whole box of Green River over there. My buddy gave me a bunch for some campaign stuff. We will be cracking those at my watch party, or election watch party.
So while we're on the topic of foreign policy, and you did mention that you were endorsed by Track APAC.
Yes.
Let's turn to something that has been at the forefront of American, broadly, geopolitical conversation for the past 2.5 years at this point, but is also a topic of conversation that one of your opponents, Zach Dimbo, has also not been willing to confront on the campaign trail. And that's the topic of the Israeli occupation of Palestinians in Gaza.
You mean the genocide?
And the genocide that has been taking place since October 7th, 2023.
Well, really, before then.
Before then. Well, yes. But specifically...
this particular incursion, yes, correct.
Zach Dimbo has not been willing to commit to calling it a genocide, despite the fact that there have been countless genocide scholars who have called what they are doing a genocide. It is very much not a question at this point. We see evidence of it. The death toll is rising constantly. I've been outspoken about it on this podcast too. Where do you stand on this? And I think we kind of know anyway by who has endorsed you, but I wanted to go ahead and get you on the record with it.
I'm not going to cry. It's what's happening is absolutely vile. Listen, yeah, of course, what happened with the hostages was disgusting. I don't agree with that at all. Of course not. But the retaliation was so uncalled for. This is a genocide. Likud is the MAGA of the Middle East. Israel is continuing colonization of Palestinian territory. They have created an apartheid state. They have bombed hospitals, schools. They've restricted food aid and medical aid. And I have eyes, I have ears, and I have a brain. I don't need the International Criminal Court that has been deliberating this for over a decade to tell me, because the United Nations has told me. Like you said, many genocide scholars have told me, and my own moral compass tells me. I have a master's in international relations, and I focused on Middle East politics. I had a little bit of a conversation with former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Olmert, in 2009 about this exact topic back then. Because I was like, well, you guys have all of this great technology to, create, to grow crops in the desert. Why are you not sharing that with the Palestinian people and helping them to eradicate their problems with hunger? Isn't that aiding and abetting to the constant suppression of the Palestinian people? He didn't like that question. But so, I mean, listen, I've had a problem with the Israeli government for a long time. And the fact that AIPAC is buying all of our elections is absurd. But let's get something really, really clear. Being critical of the actions of a government is not the same as being racist or hateful towards a group of people nor a religion. Frankly, I believe the actions of the Israeli government and organizations like AIPAC are doing a lot of disservice and are fueling the fire of anti-Semitism. Yes. It's not people like us.
No.
It's them doing this. They are the ones who are murdering people's families, starving children, bombing hospitals. Mm-hmm. And I think if I were a Palestinian person, I'd also be pretty mad about that. Yep. And listen, one of my former bosses, he grew up in the refugee camps. The refugee camps have been around for decades. He was born in the 60s. Mm-hmm. Okay?
History didn't begin on October 7th.
No. But this particular incursion was 1948. Yep. And so, or this particular struggle, not incursion. This struggle has been going on since 1948. And the Palestinian people were there before 1948. But because white colonists decided that they felt bad for ignoring the Holocaust, they were like, oh, let's do this. Let's just give it these brown people's land because we've been stealing brown people's land and riches for a long time. Now let's just give this to these people who we almost let be killed by genocide. One genocide does not allow for another. If anything, I am frankly shocked and appalled that the people of Israel, whose ancestors did go through the Holocaust, believe that this is okay, believe that this is the solution. So yeah, I'm really disappointed in Andy Bashir and how he answered the question recently about it. He's like, well, this is just a litmus test. I was like, no, this is human rights. This is not politics.
Agreed.
This is human rights. And human rights should go over politics every single day. And if that's what loses me an election, then I don't care. I want to be on the right side of history on this because Lord knows the United States has never been on the right side of calling a genocide, whether it was Kosovo, whether it was Rwanda, whether it was Myanmar, whether it's the Rohingya, the Uyghurs, or even the Holocaust itself, where the United States turned away hundreds of thousands of Jewish and other refugees fleeing Hitler's Germany and occupied territories because of anti-Semitism, because of immigration quotas, and because they were like, them Jews going to take our jobs. Just because you're doing it to another group of people doesn't make it right. No. It actually makes it even worse.
So to follow up on that, do you make a distinction between offensive and defensive arms sales to Israel?
Yeah, absolutely. And, we have the Leahy Law for a reason. Mm-hmm. The Leahy Law dictates that the United States will not grant arms sales to a government who will use them to commit human rights atrocities. This is, and by the way, listen, Israel's a rich country. They have universal health care. They have exceptional education. They grow a lot of the produce for places like Germany, even with said technology I mentioned earlier. Israel doesn't need weapons from us. Like they have one of the most sophisticated intelligence agencies in the world. If you use Waze, that was created by Israel. Yeah. And a lot of former Mossad folks. And so they're a very wealthy country. So, why aren't they asking other folks for it? Why are other folks not providing it? And yes, there's a difference between offensive and defensive. But right now, I just don't see this is such disproportionate warfare. And bombing a hospital because they said there were Hamas in the basement. I'm like at a loss for words. It's just exactly what happened with Iran. They said, we bombed a school, murdered over 160 people, a lot of them elementary school girls. Mm-hmm. But oh no, there could have been an IRG there.
Yeah. Would you vote against sending?
Yes, absolutely. Cut it all off. Cut it all off.
There we go.
There you go.
That's what I was getting at more than
cut it off.
More than anything.
They don't need it.
What do you think about the weeded foolproof?
Oh, wow. We're going to switch gears. Genocide to tasting. I feel like I really need a drink after that one. I've also, can I just say the other thing, Perry, is that I've actually been to Israel and Palestine.
Yeah.
And when you cross through the wall, which is barbed wired, there's guards everywhere. It's ghettoization.
Yeah.
It is apartheid. You walk through, I still viscerally remember walking from one side from Israel to Palestine. And it's as if you threw something back 100+ years. There's no reason for that.
No. Okay, now we'll actually move into the...
I was like, that was awesome.
Weeded foolproof.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I'm not much of a weeded girly. This is the Fear and Loathing, the Gonzo whiskey, which I'm part of. That is a weeded, but I do really enjoy it. It's a little higher proof. I do love Maker's Mark. Generally, though, like a lot of weededs, like Weller, I don't really enjoy that much.
Interesting.
So I'm not like a Pappy acolyte. I really don't like
fair.
Old Fitz, any of it.
Wow.
I don't like any of it.
It depends
Larceny,
on the day for me.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Makers I like. The Fear and Loathing I like. But yeah, most weeded, it's just not my jam.
Yeah. It's just not hitting for you either?
Not really.
Interesting.
I mean, it's perfectly fine. It's just not my thing, if you will.
Green River.
Yeah.
It's your first miss.
If you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you. That's one of my favorite movies. I have like the humor of like a 12-year-old boy.
That quote always catches me off guard.
I know,
like
right?
It always makes me laugh. But
my favorite is when he like throws out some Japanese and then he's like, prune candy.
Yeah.
Maypax, the official tampon of NASCAR. And I'm like, wow, how feminist of you all. I know that movie by heart. So, that's what's rolling around in this brain here.
On the campaign trail, you just start rattling off Ricky Bobby quotes.
I know. Oh, literally, yeah. If you're not first, you're last. Don't try to snort these Lucky Charms. You ruined my Crystal Gale t-shirt. Oh my gosh.
This is great.
How did stock car racing get its start? Or how did NASCAR get its start? Stock car racers were trying to outrun the feds. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
No. I love it.
I have the extended DVD director's cut version because I'm a nerd. And anytime I see Talladega Nights come on TV, I'm always like, I'll like be like quoting it. And then I'm like, but they cut that part out. They cut my favorite part out. I hate that TV cuts.
That way, but with Lord of the Rings.
Not me having the 3 extended director's
cuts.
edition behind me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There you go.
All right. Anyways, I'll shut up now.
No. It's all good. Since we're on bourbon too, let's just talk about, because there is the topic of Kentucky, and we are in the most unaffordable living crisis right now in Kentucky.
Yep.
I will say, fortunately, bourbon has not been, largely affected by the inflation issue too terribly much.
No, it was impacted by a lot of other issues that were coming before that. Yes.
Yes. However, everything else around it creates the inability for a lot of people to enjoy things like bourbon.
Yeah. Disposable income.
I was talking to my sister in preparation for sitting down with you, and
what up, girl?
She was hi Sarah.
Hi Sarah.
She was in North Carolina this week at a campaign rally with her boyfriend, and the candidate for Congress was talking about the concept of your life should not be this hard.
That's an understatement. Yeah.
And she specifically wanted me to ask you about like tangible policies that you'd like to see enacted when you get elected for Kentuckians specifically, because I think that we do hear a lot about the affordability crisis.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, from a Lexington standpoint, we've got people like Herbert who are moving towards, trying to address it from housing.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to get your take on that too.
Yeah, so I'll actually start hitting it from the housing, right? Because people love to point fingers and hate on homeless people, right?
Yes.
I was talking to this woman, I think her name was Maria. She was downtown because sometimes I volunteer at this thing called Church Under the Bridge where they feed folks on Sunday.
Yeah.
And what up, Miss Carolyn? She's not going to listen to this, but that's fine.
She might. You never know.
I highly doubt it. That girl busy. But I was talking to her, and she had this cute little dog. Oh my gosh, her dog was so cute. I think his name was Peanut. And she was saying that she had an apartment lined up, and then she got robbed. It was all of her money for her. And these are people who can't, they don't have a bank account because they don't necessarily have identifying papers because they don't have access to their birth certificate. And you can say, oh, just get a birth certificate. And I was like, well, that costs X amount of money. And they're like, it's only $15. I was like, well, if it's a choice between you eating for 3 days or getting a copy of your birth certificate, should they starve? So she got robbed, and now she can't get an apartment. She was robbed going to her storage unit to go get her duffel bag of all of her rest of her belongings, and she was robbed there. I offered to give her a ride over there to get her stuff and, be like, I'll bring my pepper spray.
Yeah.
But everyone is just one bad thing away from losing everything. And that's even if you're super wealthy. Look at Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
Look at the stock market. Look at the housing market. So looking at the housing market, one of the most unaffordable things is the housing market, right? And one thing we can absolutely do is start addressing the single family homes as an investment piece. Now, I very much believe in restricting the ability for people to own single family homes as investments. Listen, I know that I'm going to piss people off who are like, Airbnbs are my hustle. But I'm like, this is people's ability to live in their communities. Yep. And I think that we also need to be holding to task organizations. First off, we should ban private equity and venture capital from owning any housing.
Yes.
Any. Not even just single family homes, like apartment buildings, anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting. But one of the things you're seeing out in like Estill County, Powell County, throughout like the Red River Gorge is people coming in, picking up houses, flipping them, and putting them on Airbnb, Vrbo, short-term rentals. And it shoves out the people who actually live there.
Yeah.
They can't, their property taxes go up. They can't afford it. And so that's a huge problem for them. And so I believe in not just banning PEVC, but also to go after Vrbo and Airbnb for creating this market and limiting people from being able to own that. I also very much believe in passing a national renters bill of rights. I was someone who, when I lived in DC, I was able to help organize a tenants union of an 850 unit corporate owned building by JBG Smith. They wanted me to be on the board, but I was like, I'm literally moving out in like 2 months. I want somebody else to take this role. And they were like, but you've been so important. I was like, it doesn't matter. I'll help you still. I don't need recognition. I don't need a title. Like, you need someone who's going to stick through with you, do this. Right.
Right.
But people were so funny because I would like literally sit in the lobby for hours and be like, hello, do you like making sure you have all your rights? So would you like to sign up for a tenants union? And so, yeah, literally, I mean, like people were so funny. They were like, oh my gosh, Erin has just been like hammering people to sign this. And we did it and we were able to do that. So I was very proud. That was one of the last things I did before I left DC. So there's housing piece, right? Again, I touched on the living wage. We have to increase wages. And people were like, well, how are companies going to pay it? I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe like reduce their CEO pay and their like bonuses and, things like that.
And wage theft.
Wage theft. Oh my gosh. And let's look at Starbucks. Starbucks is a great example of this, right? Their CEO, it's a tax write-off for the company. And he is being like, he's just a complete carbon sink in the fact that he commutes by private jet from California to Seattle, makes everybody in Seattle come into the office, but he comes to the office. Stuff, it is like literally absurd. Like this is stuff out of like Like Kurt Vonnegut could have written about this.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely bananas. And so he comes in and he tells everyone, well, you need to only wear these things for your uniform, but we're not going to give you any money to buy that uniform. Yeah. And then, they're currently in a struggle with unions. Mm-hmm. To get correct pay. And they say, well, we pay you $30 an hour with all your benefits included. Well, one of those key benefits is Lyft rides, right? So a lot of people, they have to go to the stores at like 4:30 in the morning. And if you're not in New York City, most places don't have public transportation, right?
Right.
Gas is insanely expensive. Some places, some people don't have cars and they have to do whatever to get there. They are now ending that Lyft benefit. That's up to a $400 a month benefit. So people are losing, what is that? $4,800 a year? Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And people now have to pay out of their pockets. So we have to start going after like these corporations that are profiting off of people. Walmart is a great example. Walmart gets about 63% of SNAP benefits. We are literally paying for Walmart. And Walmart is incentivized to keep all of their people under full-time pay without benefits. Because in a lot of these rural communities, Walmart's the only grocery store. So it's a captive audience. It's a captive market. Yep. And we have to stop this kind of corporate welfare. But also, I believe the other thing too is we have to pass Medicare for all. Yep. That is a specific policy initiative that would save so many people. It would also be just good for the economy. I've seen projections that show savings for Medicare for all are between half a trillion to in the trillions. Yep. And the only people who are going to get hurt, it's executive CEO paying the shareholders, and frankly, screw them.
But Erin,
I don't care.
There's no money. There's no money for how could you? There's no way that we can raise that kind of money for. Where would that money possibly come from?
Oh my gosh, maybe all the billionaires and companies that aren't paying any taxes in the system.
But I'm a billionaire in the system.
Can you max out my campaign?
Well, I don't want to be taxed for all that. How much money would it actually be if I got taxed all that money? I'm concerned about
You'd still be a billionaire. I always tell people, I was like, the best way to get rich is to have money. Mm-hmm. If you put money into like a compounding savings account or into the stock market, you're just going to keep growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. But then there's this poor tax, right? Like if you're not able to kind of set aside wealth constantly, you keep getting screwed and you keep getting set back. And we need to be able to even that playing field. We could get rid of programs like SNAP, like WIC, like CHIP, like Medicaid. We could get rid of all of those programs, like the ACA subsidies, if we just had Medicare for all.
By the way,
we could get rid of the VA.
I was role playing, by the way.
I know. I'm like, he's not a billionaire.
Just for the people at home who are, maybe they don't understand sarcasm or, sometimes we have people who don't get that.
Perry, it's really hard being someone running for political office and being a disgustingly sarcastic person. Because sometimes I'll be like, yeah, Cole, keep the lights on. And they're like, what? No, it doesn't. And I'm like, no shit, I'm joking. Like, I'm saying that I grew up seeing these stupid commercials and I see these Teslas and Cybertrucks with Friends of Cole license plates on. And I'm like, oh, my eyes can't roll back further in my head. By the way, for anyone who's curious, so if you go to my Substack, just look up Erin Petrey on Substack. I wrote a really well-researched piece on why Kentucky and coal have no future together. Yeah. And the long and short of it is Kentucky is no longer competitive even domestically when it comes to coal.
No.
So like this whole thing with Andy Barr being like, we're going to bring back big, beautiful coal. Like it's stupid. And it's treating people in Eastern Kentucky like they're stupid, giving them false promises that he will never, ever be able to actually make due on. I mean, heck, we still owe people black lung payouts. Okay. They haven't been upholding the safety standards that they need to be for like curtains for silica. Yeah. There's so many problems with coal mining, and it's just, again, like there are huge, very easy to access seams like in Wyoming and Montana, in Virginia, West Virginia, Alabama. Kentucky has really deep seams. The coal is like decent quality, right? But it's so hard to get to, and mechanization is actually what killed most of coal. Like, and that was like 70 years ago.
Yeah. Andy Barr. I can't think.
Did you know that my phone autocorrects Andy Barr to Andy Barf? I can't make this shit up. It also sometimes corrects my name. It also corrects my name sometime, Erin, E-R-I-N, to Merlin, like the wizard.
Merlin Petrey.
Merlin Petrey. I guess that, I was like, I think if I had a pet frog, I would name him Merlin Petrey. Or maybe like a one-eyed Sphinx cat or something, like a real janky cat. Like, that's Merlin. I'll leave him alone. Yeah, but Andy Barf.
He just sits in the corner and he yells
sits
at
there
people.
And he's like,
don't get too
I'm not
close.
even a cat person.
He smells bad.
Don't touch him. He's fine. We just feed him tuna and he's fine.
Whole tuna though. You got to chuck it at him.
No, it's literally like a whole tuna, like a whole like half-ton tuna. He's been working on the same one for a few months.
Sorry, the basement smells bad.
I have to have a press conference after this. I'm sorry. Oh my God. And I'm just going to be thinking about like talking about data centers being like lol Merlin in the corner chawing on his tuna. What are we even talking about? Oh yeah, but Andy Barf, like I literally, the first time my phone corrected to that, I almost threw my phone across the room because I was like, no, this is too good. It's too good.
Why don't we talk about data centers for a second too?
Let's
Because it's becoming because it is becoming an increasingly an increasing issue across the board, and you are motioning for a pretty substantial target against data centers in Kentucky.
Yep.
Too.
Yeah. So a little bit of background. I worked for Amazon Web Services, the largest hyperscale operator of data centers in the world. My job there was to lead voluntary global sustainability reporting, and I pushed them to be more sustainable and transparent. And I was actually successful in some ways. I can point to Amazon's website and I'm like, I did that, and that. I also wrote their sustainability report for 2024. Awesome. That was a lot of work.
Can't imagine.
There were some things that I had literally had to send up to Andy Jassy, and then it got cut down. And I'm like, jeez. Yeah, because, it costs too much money to do the right thing environmentally. Shocking. But, so here's the thing, right, is that, so my initiative, which I'm going to be doing a press conference right after we conclude the recording of this. I have created an organization called Demanding Data Center Accountability, Demand DCA. And what I'm doing is I'm calling on every single candidate, elected official, and citizen to sign on to calling for an indefinite moratorium on data centers in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. 2, refusing campaign donations and money from developers, operators, and lobbyists of data centers. So one of my opponents is out of that. And then number 3 is committing to work towards, real data center regulation at the highest levels that they are able to impact. Mm-hmm. And so, in the earlier session this year in Frankfurt, there was a data center regulation proposed, right? Yeah. And one of the things was like that they had to provide X amount of energy to produce. They also had to there was a $75,000 application fee. And quite a lot else, right? Because you do have to do like environmental assessments, all these things. But what I'm seeing is that these data center companies like XAI, aka Grok, aka Twitter, aka Elon Musk, trying to go into Mason County, where my mom's family is from, and offering $26 million for a large swath of farmland, which is way above market. Yeah. Word to the wise. If anyone offers you way more money than something is worth,
run.
Okay, something's wrong. Run. Also, they will at least give you twice as much.
Yeah.
Don't accept that first offer. No. But no, it's because they're going to make billions off of it. And so people shoved it out are trying to shove it out of Mason County. They did it in Shelby County. I think that moratorium is now over. Simpson County, Mercer County, Madison County, all of these different counties, Pulaski, I think. they're all starting to get hit with these data center developers coming in. And the problem is we are not organized.
Yeah.
We are not united in this front because the state has not passed anything. And Lord have mercy, the feds certainly haven't passed anything. And as someone who worked at AWS and worked on sustainability, the only way that these large data center companies are going to do anything when it comes to being environmentally responsible is if it is mandated by the government. Mm-hmm. They're still going to try to get out of it, but because that's what lobbyists do.
Yeah.
But that is literally the only thing. We had a whole big team. Our team was huge that dealt with, comparative to Amazon size. If anybody doesn't know how Amazon works with what's called 2 pizza teams. It's, if your team can't be fed by 2 pizzas, it's too big. We don't no, it's actually really great because otherwise you get too many layers and you get
makes sense. Yeah.
It's actually, I learned a lot of amazing things from Amazon. Yeah. There's some awesome things that Amazon does. There's a reason why they're as successful as they are. But here's the thing. I'm going to take everything I learned from them about how to operate well and use it for good. And so, what we're seeing though is that all of these counties, and some of them have more resources than others, we need to even the playing field, because some county is going to see, oh my gosh, Garrett County, for example, if Mercer County pushes them out, they're probably going to go to Garrett next. Yeah. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you're going to give us $75 million in a tax basis? That's huge for us. That's life changing. Yeah. But at what cost? Yeah. But at what cost? Yeah. And so I am wanting to organize all of these groups together. This does not replace any of the work being done by We Are Mercer County, no data centers. We Are Mason County, no data centers. Preserve Madison County. It doesn't replace any of that. It serves to collectivize us. Mm-hmm. And eventually I want this to move nationally. Yeah. But it's just me right now. So if you go to the website, demanddca.org, and you're good at running a Squarespace site, I could use your help because I literally just built this last night. But that's how grassroots stuff work, Yeah. You move fast and you break things, and that's how you kind of move. And so I was like, I was asked to go and testify at the Mercer County Planning and Zoning Commission because they were looking at the draft ordinance for a data center park. And I read it and I was like, this is a data center developer's dream. If I worked at Amazon right now, I'd be like, hell yeah, this is great. Yeah. I mean, not me personally, but if as one who worked, because I was like, wow, this requires me to do nothing. It has a lot of specifics on what kind of berm I need to create or what kind of trees I can use to create an opaque barrier. But as far as energy or sustainability or environmental standards or hiring standards, right, job requirements, Zippo. Yeah. So I gave a testimony there. And then after that, on my drive home, I was like, we got to do something. People keep asking me about this. We have to do something. And I'm not someone to wait for permission. Yeah. Which is why I'm running for Congress and piss people off. They were like, but the DCCC. And I was like, screw them. They're the problem. The DNC, by the way, I don't like the DNC. The DNC needs to be cleaned out. And we need new leadership because Ken Martin is a joke. And so
Boy, I've had a lot of fun watching him flail over the past couple of weeks.
Did you watch that, or did you listen to that Pod Save America interview?
I've seen
the reactions.
I've seen clips from it. I mainly watched it get broken down by people like the Majority Report. Yeah. Talking about just how inept
Sam Seder,
he
is that right?
Sam Seder, yeah.
Seder, yeah.
Just how inept he is at being able to deliver on what he was elected to do, which was, what was what it was actually
I don't know,
called?
Win the 2024 election.
Well, right, but what was the report actually called? I can't.
Oh, it was it was like a moratorium. It was like a postmortem.
Yeah, the postmortem for the 2024 election.
And he hired a buddy of his,
and saying that it was done for free, and then it was anyway. It's off topic, but I just.
Actually, I don't think it's off topic because I think it goes back to kind of the core of the issue, right? Of everything that we're dealing with, right? Because the Democrats have been a joke. Yeah. They've been the same as Republicans. They're all corporate Democrats. They don't really care about anything. And one of the things too is that I'm iffy on the way that Andy Beshear approaches this, but I get it. He's like, we just need to talk to people like people. But I hate when he's like, don't call it substance abuse disorder, call it drug addiction. And I was like,
that's such a liberal approach to
but I'm like,
aesthetics. And it's like, you're not actually doing anything about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care about
The words.
It's like,
it's the attitude.
Do something, you know?
Yeah,
like,
it's action and it's also attitude, right? Like, you know, when I go out to like, oh gosh, I remember I was talking to a group here in Lexington who I love. But somebody asked me, they said like, well, how do you, Erin, like all these topics are great because we're talking about like Ukraine and like talking like deep about like Israel and like other things. And they were like, but Erin, like, how do you talk to rural populations, assuming that they don't care about this and that they are uneducated on anything that isn't something so simple? And I was like, okay, so that's the problem, right? Like people out in rural areas in Eastern Kentucky and like poor areas are not uneducated. They're not stupid. No. We're treating them like they're stupid. And by we, I mean the Democratic Party is treating them like they're stupid. They're not stupid.
No.
Like, why don't you sit down and talk to them? Because that's what I actually do. And I was like, you know, they're like, how do you talk to rural populations versus urban populations? I was like, you talk to them about the issues they care about. And sometimes people in the cities want to talk about something random. And sometimes people in rural places want to talk about something random. We all have the same problems. It just manifests a little differently.
The largest issue, and I will harp on this until the day I die, is that we have lost the ability to meet people where they are.
Yep.
When Zoran Mamdani won in New York City, and people said, well, that's great that he won in New York City, but that is a haven for those politics to succeed. They can't succeed anywhere else.
People-focused politics?
They can't succeed anywhere else. The answer is, you're wrong. You can use those same politics, but shift the policy to where you are geographically, and demographically, largely.
Yeah. So
look at Graham Plattner.
Well, that's a different.
Well, my point is that he's running a successful campaign in Maine with largely the same politics as Zoran did, but in a pretty red district, a pretty red area. But even 2 years ago, you would have people saying, well, there's no way that this could be successful. But he's meeting people where they are. And this is what has lost the DNC election after election after election. You're not meeting people. You're not actually having conversations. You're not sitting down and understanding that they are people as opposed to votes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very reductionist. And I have people commenting on my TikTok. So I have the widest social media presence in my race because I was like, I'm investing in this. Also, that's just kind of what's second nature to me, right? Yep. And I'm engaging people there. And one thing I see is that people say, Erin, why are you focused on Lexington? Like anytime I post something on Lexington, I'm like, well, I live here, right? And they're like, why are you focused on the gays? I was like, well, gay people live here. But gay people also live in Powell County.
Yeah.
You know, there are queer folks in Powell County. There are queer folks in Estill County. There are queer folks in Anderson County. There are queer folks everywhere. There have been queer folks on this planet since humanity started.
Yep.
And so, you know, but they're like, oh, why are you focused on Lexington? I was like, have you seen not the other half of my videos that are talking about every other place in this district? And I've spent a lot of time outside of Fayette County, a significant amount of time. I put over 20,000 miles on my car since September. Yeah, I just had to spend $1,200 on new tires this week, which is really sucky. Now I'm out like 2 different like lights. Like, oh gosh, it's crazy. But anyway, so people in outside of Fayette County know I show up. Yeah. Because I consistently show up. And actually I was in Powell County last week because the Fayette County Democratic Party had a fundraiser on April 30th, which is the quintessential example of how out of touch Democrats are. Mm-hmm. The chair of the Democratic Party here, and I'll just be totally honest, the Fayette County Democratic Party has been incredibly unhelpful to me and pretty much every other candidate except one.
Shocker.
And it's really bothersome, right? And I hear a lot of people outside of Fayette County, like especially in rural areas, be like, Fayette County Democratic Party thinks that they own the whole state.
Yeah.
And that's why the KDP is not doing well. That's why we continue to lose, right? Yeah. Because they don't show up. And so I want to try to revitalize and reinvigorate the Kentucky Democratic Party and the Democratic Party generally, because we need to do better. But they had their chair sent out an email and said, oh, everything's too expensive. Affordability. That's why we need to fundraise. And I was like, okay, fine. But then on Thursday, they had some vice chairman of the DNC, who I'm sure is a great speaker and is a great person, but whatever. I don't really care about the DNC. I don't fawn over them because I think they're part of the problem, because they are part of the problem. Mm-hmm. They are the problem. Came to Lexington and they were charging $150 minimum for a ticket at Central Bank Center. And then for a candidate table, which was literally like a tiny, like little high top table to put literature on, and 2 tickets. So usually, you know, candidates go everywhere with one staffer, right? $750. So I said, fuck that. I'm going to Powell County. So I went and I canvassed in Clay City. And my colleague went and canvassed in Stanton. And then I met with a group of about a dozen or so folks in Clay City at the Mexican restaurant, because I was like, I'm not going and spending almost $1,000 of campaign money that I could be using to reach voters to A, infuse a party that thinks I don't exist, but B, to hobnob with people who already know who I am. They're the people who already know what's happening. They already know who they're voting for. I'm not going to meet anybody new. And that just seemed so horrendously out of touch. And then I was talking with the Powell County chair, who's amazing. She's truly incredible. And she was talking, and I was talking to her about this, and she was like, yeah, we are dealing with our Wendell Ford dinner, which is our big fundraiser. They do it with Bath, Clark, and Powell County. I don't know if Estill's part of it too, but there's in Montgomery, maybe, I think too. It's a bunch of the more eastern parts of the 6th district. They do it together. And they were saying, we were really trying to find a way to make sure this is as affordable as possible. I think last year tickets were like $35, and that included dinner. And it was amazing.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. The one in Lexington with the Fayette County party, it didn't even include a drink or parking. If you wanted to, you could buy a $250 ticket and it would include 1 drink and parking.
That's nice.
It was so out of touch. And I was like, guys, I used to live in DC, right? $150 a ticket for something like that with no drinks. I would have been like, no, that's too expensive. And that's in Washington, D.C., let alone Lexington, Kentucky. We have got to get our heads out of our butts here. I mean, it's absurd. I was like, Democrats are not losing because Republicans are winning. Democrats are losing because they're missing the effing plot.
Yeah. It gets to the point where it's like, they just want to lose.
I think they care more about holding on to their own personal power than actually lifting up other people.
That's what I mean. They're more interested.
Like, do you just want to like keep having an axe to grind at other people's expense? It's absurd. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I was sick and tired of the same kind of people running for office. And we need somebody who actually gives a shit and doesn't take this corporate Democrat kind of tack and wants to change things up and doesn't see. I'm okay with killing my darlings, right? Because I want to do the right thing for people, regardless of the political chits, because that is what is most important at the end of the day. And I'm sick and tired of it. And that's why I keep calling myself an unapologetic progressive Democrat, because that's who I am at my heart and my soul. I started this whole campaign out being like, people telling me, well, you need to be a little bit more moderate on this and that. And then I remember pulling over on the side of the road one day on Pisgah Pike. I was shoving something into, I was like, I'm going to admit to probably a felony right now, but I shoved something in. I shoved a note into Ben Chandler's mailbox because he wouldn't call me back. I used to work for him, but I was like, hey, Ben, call me. I could have put it on his door, but anyways, don't come at me. I didn't do anything. I just said it in his mailbox. You're going to be fine. I'll be fine. I was like, don't hate me.
Yeah.
And I pulled over and then I popped in his mailbox and then I thought, and I was like, oh my gosh, fuck this. Fuck this. I can't be this person. This is not who I am. Yeah. And listen, if you want to be like, oh, she's just being this person because she wants to be this person because that's electable, go back and look at my Facebook history. Like, I've been pretty lib for my whole life. Like, I actually went and I looked back at my like 2020 posts like during BLM, and I was like, huh, okay, yeah, okay, all right, cool, yeah, this is just who I've always been, and we need more people to be unapologetic about not negotiating with ourselves, and unapologetic for insisting on the highest standards to lift up other people, because we can't keep selling ourselves short.
Yeah.
And don't vote for people who have the most money if you're tired of money in politics. Get off my soapbox. I drank all my bourbon. To be fair, it wasn't a lot. I think there was like an ounce between the two of them.
Do you want one more pour?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Yay! Let me decant this real quick.
Okay.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm going to rinsey poo this. Ooh, Elijah Craig is my favorite.
C921 barrel proof.
You want to hear a fun story that's not political related, but tell me about this first.
It's the third and final release from 2021 of Elijah Craig barrel proof. There's a little tiny store in town that still has some of these on the shelf.
So,
and
it smells like cherry cough syrup, but like in a good way. All right. So I have a fun story about the Bourbon Festival.
Okay.
So I've been a member of Bourbon Women for a long time. I'm also on the board of Bourbon Women. This is nothing I'm saying are views of Bourbon Women, et cetera, all the disclaimers, right? This is just Erin Petrey, the candidate, the person.
Peggy No Stevens is one of my favorite people in the world, and she's
an
angel.
No,
No,
she is not an angel. she is a friggin' like devil sprite. Like she is. I was like, oh, don't fall for that shtick. Peggy No Stevens is one of the most formidable people. She is hilarious and a force to be reckoned with, and an incredible human. Peggy and I, this is a good story. I'm going to tell the story first. So at the annual Bourbon Women Conference Symposium, we were doing a little bottle share downstairs, and Peggy comes in, and I was like, I want to do karaoke. And then I was like, and she was like, yeah, sounds great. And I was like, I mean, man, it sucks. Like we could do it in like the ballroom upstairs, because they kept coming in, the management kept coming and yelling at us, being like, you're being too loud. And we're like, shoot. And I was like, Peggy, like, don't we have the ballroom rented? And she goes, yeah. And I was like, do you know who has a key? And she just lifts her wrist up and has this little dangly key. And I was like, you want to go look at the ballroom and see if they've got a sound system? So we moved the whole bottle share up in there. Somebody ordered a good $200 worth of White Castle.
Unbelievable.
And then we started, Nick Lewis from Barstown Bourbon Company went on he had a 6 a.m. flight the next day. I think he just stayed up all night. He went and he like DJ'd, and Peggy No Stevens got up and rapped all of the lyrics to, what is it? It's like the hip hop,
Rapper's
hippie.
Delight.
Yeah, exactly. She got up and rapped that whole thing. And we drank bourbon, treasure. And we got drunk on White Castle mozzarella sticks. And we did that. And then Peggy, So I love Peggy No Stevens, because she is, I love that woman. She is such a nut, and I love her so much. She has my undying respect. But Peggy No Stevens is also one of the reasons why, I got into this race too, right? And she always says, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. I haven't gotten scared yet.
Yeah.
But
do you think you will?
I don't know. I've almost died before. In 2022, I almost lost my life to my Crohn's disease. And I think once you come that close with your own mortality, you kind of stop giving a fuck.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm just going to live my life in the truest, most honest and authentic way I know how. And screw the haters.
Yeah.
And so I will always be unapologetically for people and the best thing. And yeah. And that's why I kind of like, I love to lean into experiences too, right? Because at the end of the day, you are a summation of how you treated other people and how you moved through this world.
One last political thing I want to ask you about before we move towards wrapping up. Mm-hmm. I would say that arguably one of the most prominent national issues right now is voting rights. and excuse me, seeing them be so effectively stripped back state by state right now. It feels like they're coming for Kentucky next. What is your game plan should that be the case, if and when you're elected?
So last night I met with a lot of African-American faith leaders, and we were discussing this. And one of the realities that I think, frankly, white people don't really look at is after the 1965 Voting Rights Act was passed, that's when they started stripping them back.
Yep.
They tried to.
Immediately.
They were like, immediately. So this is just even bolder. The SAVE Act is a poll tax. Once again, going back to the woman I was talking about, they're like, well, you should get a birth certificate, $50, and this is da-da-da. And I was like, well, what if it's between that and choosing to feed your children?
Yep.
And they're like, well, you shouldn't have been. And I was like, being an American means that you have certain rights. It doesn't mean that you have to have money to exercise those rights.
Yeah.
Because that's not the ethos of our country. That's not democracy. That might be the actuality of our country, but that's certainly not the ethos. That's not what was intended. I still think it's gross. I mean, I said this before. I was involved in the DC statehood movement back in 2016, and the fact that 800,000 people still don't have federal representation is disgusting to me, and most of those people are Black, obviously. Yeah. But no, I mean, if ICE goes to the polls, I don't know, I might get arrested. I don't know, I might get arrested. We don't know. I've never been arrested before. I'm like always like this goody. I'm like, I follow all the laws. But that's unacceptable. I know that it's just until we are all free, none of us are free.
Yep.
Until we are all equal, none of us are equal. And this is me calling on every single friggin' white person out there to use your voice and use your privilege to stand up to it. Call Michael Adams, our Secretary of State. Call Russell Coleman, our AG, who, by the way, is now joining the national lawsuit with a bunch of other states about the mifepristone, about the mail-in, abortion pill.
Really?
Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah, I haven't even, that happened literally earlier today.
That's great.
There's so much we need to do, but the number one thing we need to do is use our privilege.
Yeah.
Because we can't keep having the folks who are disenfranchised being the ones to carry that banner, because they have been carrying this weight for so long, and we need to stand up. And I'm tired of people just saying, well, it's not impacting my life, so I don't care.
Yeah.
It does impact your life.
100%.
If it impacts your neighbors, it impacts you. Use your privilege for good.
Yep.
Use your privilege for good. Speak out against it. Call your senators, call your representatives, run for office, become a poll worker. Make sure that if you see something, you say something, and you call out injustices and discrimination. What happened in Tennessee is vile.
Yeah.
In Louisiana, or not Louisiana, Florida and Alabama.
Yeah. Kentucky's not far away. I mean,
I know. I mean, I think the only thing that we have is the fact that they're out of session. Bashir won't call a special session, and Bashir certainly won't ask for it.
No.
So we'll at least get through the midterms. But then if Jamie Comer is governor, which, listen, I'm a realist. There's a chance that Jamie Comer could be our next mayor. God damn it. I keep talking about the mayoral race in Lexington so much. I literally was with people talking about the mayoral race here. If Jamie Comer becomes our next governor, I'm very worried for this state.
Yeah.
Which is more reason that the Kentucky Democratic Party needs to get their shit together and make sure that all of these races in even the reddest areas are not gone uncontested. Because even if you say, well, we're only going to get 1% of the vote, that's 1% this time. You could get 2% next time, and then you could get 4%, and then 8%, and then 16%. But you need to show up to be noticed. If you are not even present, you will never, ever be counted. And certainly no one will even see that you exist.
There you go.
And they all exist. Every single vote counts. Poor, rich, white, black, Latino. And yes, I know only citizens can vote. Nobody's saying that non-citizens should be able to vote. That is the dumbest thing that any of these MAGA people say. Nobody thinks that.
Just a complete farce of a conversation.
It's like this straw man.
It makes me
absurd.
I can't say what it makes me want to do. But
it makes me want to finish.
Yeah.
It's like the hard truth.
The hard truth. Hey, we have a couple of segments on the back end of the podcast that I want to do with you. The first one is called High Proof Hot Takes.
Ooh.
Where we have some hot takes about things that have been bugging us, rubbing us the wrong way, that we need to get off of our chests, that we want to bring up. Is there anything that you need to... Doesn't have to be politics or bourbon related. Just something.
I was like, politics or bourbon related or anything else? A hot take. Oh, here's one. All right. So I'm an environmentalist at heart, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I'm about to go to Harrodsburg and do a data center thing. I'm really tired of lawn care.
Bro, me too.
Can I ask why?
Why's it got to grow so fast?
Well, that. But also, I'm like, like, do we all need to live on a golf course? Like, it's actually really bad. Like mosquito squad, like all we're doing is just like pumping our yards full of chemicals. But then those same people pumping their yards full of chemicals are the people who are worried about red dye number 40.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do you want to soak your lawn in chemicals? But then you're going to complain about vaccines so everyone dies of measles?
Yeah. See, I'm not coating my lawn anything.
My mother is obsessed with her lawn. She's obsessed with her lawn, and she loves gardening, but she's obsessed with her lawn. And I'm like, can we please leave the leaves so that like all the little bugs can have their nice little habitats, and then the birds can be fed by the bugs. And then, it's better for biodiversity, and it's better for like actually like the bees and the pollination and the farmers. And oh my gosh, the lawn care industry really bothers me. And this recent Supreme Court decision about what was the name of the company? I can't remember. But now Maha's all up in arms being like, oh my gosh, they're saying that we can use all these pesticides. This is terrible. And I was like, you reap what you sow. That's my hot take. Yeah. Fuck lawn care.
I just got over what might be the worst stomach bug I've ever had.
Do you feel skinny?
Yes. Honestly, yeah.
It's like colonoscopy prep. Also, here's my hot take on colonoscopy prep. Get your colonoscopy. I've had like 20 colonoscopies in my life, and I'm 38 years old because I have Crohn's disease. It's not that bad. It's fine. Just deal with it. Oh, no, that is a lot. But I'm saying if I can do that many, you can get your one.
Like yesterday was the first day that I started to feel human again. And it started on like Saturday. Yeah. Like, not saying that I have any full scope of what it feels like to actually have Crohn's, but it was a lot for 5 or 6 straight days.
A stomach bug is hell. Like, no, that's just violent.
Yeah. Like, Sunday, I slept for 15 straight hours.
Also, this isn't like a competition I want to win, so it's fine. Whose GI system is more jacked?
But I've never had an illness like this where for days on end I have just had so little energy. Like today, finally, I have been like, I can act like a normal human again, and I can get up and do regular people things, and I can take care of my kids and not feel like I need to go take a nap. And it's just been Horrible. And I think the hot take of it all is like, just wash your hands, please. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say this on this podcast, but like, I like
happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
I count to at least 20. I count to at least 20. Like I so thoroughly wash my hands.
We went from being COVID and now we're just filthy animals again.
Right. And I know that part of like I get some severe kind of, I wouldn't say severe, but like last year I had a hand, foot, and mouth that I definitely caught from my youngest
your kids,
because they're in daycare, right? So I get like one a year, right? And I'm hoping that this was my one a year because it was right about the same time.
Fingers crossed.
To almost like 365 days. So I'm really, really keeping my fingers crossed that I didn't, that I got it out of my system. But anyway, just wash your hands.
Another hot take on that is like, that's when you actually need like electrolyte powder. You don't need freaking electrolyte powder any other time, unless you're like hungover, you're an elite athlete, you're sick, like all of these like athletic greens and groons and all this bajillion, like, you know, like liquid IV. I'm like, those are great. Like when you need it, but like, y'all, like just salt your food and drink water.
Like I drank a Pedialyte on Wednesday, I want to say, and I've never felt better in my entire life.
Well, that's because you're actually dehydrated.
Yeah. Now, granted, that lasted all of about, I want to say 45 minutes.
How do people in Europe like barely drink water and they're way healthier than us? And we're like, you have to drink 80,000 gallons of water a day in order to like at least be okay. It's bullshit.
I want to say it's water because like
I'm totally kidding.
I drink a lot of water.
I was like, don't get me started on municipalizing water and power, but that's a different conversation. I'm not going to go there.
The other segment of the show is our recommendation segment. Excuse me. It's called Tips and Bits. Things we've been watching, reading, listening to, playing, enjoying that we also want to recommend to other people.
Tips and bits?
Tips and bits.
Reminds me of like burnt ends.
Right.
Okay, tips and bits.
Anything you want to recommend to people, Erin?
Anything I want to recommend to people? Make sure you know where to vote, and that primaries are arguably even more important than general elections because that's when you actually choose your fighter. Yep. And when you vote in a primary, vote your actual values. Don't be like, oh, well, this is the person who I think could maybe win whatever is a general. Because I have so many thoughts about this.
This is almost a high-proof hot take.
Huh?
This is almost a high-proof hot take.
It is. I know. But just find out just figure out, make a plan to vote. Just make a plan to vote. Let's see here. Tips and bits. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Ooh, you know what I'm really excited about? I guess this is like a tip and a bit. It's a tidbit. It's a tip bit. I'm really excited that yuzu is making a comeback right now, or like not a comeback, but it's like, I know that Spindrift has like a yuzu mandarin, which is delicious.
Oh, yeah.
There's this like yuzu liqueur that's out there. It's nice in a gin and tonic or like a vodka soda. I don't drink those, but that's your thing. Even in like a little bit of sparkling water, like yuzu is such a lovely citrus and it's a great way to get vitamin C. And it's just a lovely way to do that. And I guess the whole reason I say that is be okay with finding joy in little things like that. Yes. Every time I find something that's like yuzu flavor, I'm like, ooh, I love yuzu. I always forget how wonderful it is. The other night I ate kimchi for the first time in a long time. And I was like, oh, I forgot how good this was. So just like relish in the little things that spark joy for you.
Yeah.
Because that's really what life is all about.
Yeah. I rewatched the very first Star Wars the other day for the 10th.
Was it on May the 4th?
Time. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It was. It had to have been.
Obviously.
I mean, yeah.
Hey, can I interject something there?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so what I always like to tell people is, so I'm a Trekkie.
But
I say, I want to live in Star Trek world, but we currently live in Star Wars world.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean,
it smells like Rolos.
It really does.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like milky chocolate, but like that kind of 100%. Like like weird confectioner, like mass produced. What is this? Oh, this is Elijah Craig. It smells like Rolo.
Yeah, it's kind of got, when you talk about that like confectionery thing, it's like walking down Main Street at Disney World and like getting that artificial sugar smell pumped in.
I downed a Kirkland cupcake earlier today. It was so good. I have a soft spot for going back to the whole like lean into little things that make you happy. I absolutely unapologetically love grocery store icing and white cake.
Oh,
it just tastes like childhood for me.
Yes.
People were like, "Oh, it's disgusting," and I was like, man. "You're disgusting." I'm a millennial. Let me have my nostalgia. Everything's been fucked for me. Let me eat my trans fats.
I still just love Star Wars. I mean,
Star Wars is great.
You know, just going back in that joy of like being introduced to that world again for I don't know how many times. It will never not be a wonderful moment.
I have a friend who grew up in the Soviet Union, who moved here in like the mid 90s.
Yeah, she's
never seen any Star Wars. I really want to watch it in the machete order with her.
Do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I really want to do that. Ala, I'm coming for you. And I've told her, I was like, oh my God, can I be there? We have to watch the machete order.
Please. Oh, I love it.
She's going to be like, what the? how did the production quality change so much?
Erin, thank you so much for sitting down with me this week. Where can people find social media stuff for you and your campaign? Where can they find links to? Well, there will be links in the description below as well, but your website for your campaign as well.
Yeah, so you can find me, honestly, just Google Erin Petrey, ErinPetrey. You can also Google Bourbon Erin, Bourbon Erin. You can find all my bourbon stuff. I'm very accessible. I'm all over the place. I'm on all the platforms except Truth Social because duh. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm very active on Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn. I'm on Substack, but erinpetrey.com is my campaign website. But if there's other ways you'd like to engage and interact with me, I'm all over the place and I would love to connect with you.
I kind of want to join Truth Social with the podcast
just to like I just don't want them to have my information.
Yeah, but everybody has your information already.
I know. I don't actually think there's any privacy in this world.
There's
which is kind of why I don't care anymore. Yeah. I'm like, I don't care.
Y'all know where to follow everything for the podcast at My Bourbon Pod. Links are on the screen in the description below. But also support the show, patreon.com/My Bourbon Podcast. Y'all know how to do that. That does it for this week's episode. Next week, Kyle will be back, I believe. But until then, though, I'm Perry.
And I'm Erin.
And this is My Bourbon Podcast.